Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for all your support over the past time. What do you think? Is it enough to build a truly gripping storyline by digging deep into Bill's wounded pride, Hayley's manipulation, Lynette's shamelessness, and Cott's recklessness? And what will happen if Bill realizes that he himself has been nothing more than a game played by Hayley and Lynette? It is not the $15,000 that shocks Bill the most. For a man like Bill, money has always been something that can be earned back, controlled again, even used to measure the loyalty of others. What truly strikes a brutal blow to his pride is the fact that the money did not simply vanish from an account or disappear from sight. It vanished alongside an even more terrifying truth, the possibility that he has been manipulated inside the very marriage where he once believed he held absolute power. All it takes is one sentence from Cott, one small detail about the luxury hotel, Lynette's flashy lifestyle, the questionable flow of money, and the entire system of trust Bill built around Hayley begins to shake. His shock is therefore not financial in nature, but a wound carved straight into his ego. A man who is used to seeing others as chess pieces suddenly realizes that he may be the one who has been moved around the board. And that is the kind of humiliation Bill will never forgive. Cott does not need to give a long speech to unsettle Bill. What makes her words dangerous is that they hit the exact place Bill has been deliberately refusing to look at. He can try to reassure himself that it is only provocation, that Cott hates Hayley so much she is exaggerating everything, that Lynette is just a shameless freeloader who knows how to cling to people with money. But the more he tries to rationalize it, the more he sees the disturbing pieces connecting in a way that cannot simply be dismissed as coincidence. A woman like Lynette cannot casually live in a luxury hotel suite and spend money as if she has access to a bottomless card unless there is some invisible line of protection behind her. The problem is that Bill begins to fear that the one who built that line of protection may be none other than Hayley. In that very moment, suspicion stops being a passing thought and turns into instinct, into self-defense. Bill begins replaying every conversation, every time Hayley steered the subject elsewhere, every moment she acted vulnerable at exactly the right time. Every instance Lynette appeared like an irritating shadow, but was never truly cut off. Once Bill begins re-examining everything, he will not stop at the question of whether Hayley lied. He will go further, colder, and crueler. He will want to know how long she has hidden her connection to Lynette, whether she hid it to protect herself, or to deliberately pull the strings of the entire performance. And the deeper he digs, the more likely he is to uncover something that enrages him even more than ordinary infidelity or betrayal, collusion. If his law firm once helped Lynette escape fraud allegations without charging a fee, then that is no longer a sign of kindness or a careless professional favor. In Bill's mind, it instantly becomes evidence of a scheme laid out long ago, a scheme in which his name, his money, and his power were turned into tools serving to women who may have been laughing behind his back the entire time. That is what makes this far more vicious, because it means Bill was not only deceived in his personal life, but infiltrated within the very power structure he was proudest of. Hayley therefore becomes the center of the storm. She may try to wrap herself in the image of a wife harassed by Lynette, followed by Lynette, dragged into trouble she never asked for. But Bill is not the kind of man who easily accepts a convenient story once he smells betrayal. One question will haunt him more than any other. If Hayley is truly the victim, then why does Lynette always appear at the exact right time, in the exact right place, at the exact point of Hayley's weakness? No one keeps a dangerous threat around for that long unless the threat still has some use. That is why the most terrifying possibility is not that Lynette attached herself to Hayley on her own, but that Hayley kept Lynette close like a dark card in her hand. A secret exit. A witness allowed to speak only when it was time to redirect the truth. Once Bill begins to think that way, he will not just feel angry. He will feel deeply insulted. He once believed Hayley needed him. But if Lynette is a piece Hayley deliberately kept in reserve, then Bill was never the protector. He was the final target in a carefully calculated survival plan. The engagement ring that Lynette still keeps will become the most poisonous symbol of this entire war. It is not just jewelry or some misplaced romantic gift. It is evidence of a boundary crossed. Lynette did not keep it out of greed alone. Greed makes people sell, exchange, and cut ties. But keeping an object tied to another woman's marriage means wanting to maintain invisible power over that marriage. It is like a reminder that there were things Hayley never fully controlled, and secrets that, if exposed, would humiliate more than one person. Bill will understand that very quickly. And once he does, he will see himself trapped between two possibilities, both equally humiliating. Either Hayley was foolish enough to let Lynette hold power over her, or Hayley was calculating enough to deliberately leave Lynette with that weapon as one more link in an intricate chain of lies. When Bill finally confronts her, Hayley will face the hardest choice of her life. But a person's true nature is often revealed most clearly not when they are strong, but when they are cornered. If Hayley chooses to tell the truth, she will have to accept the loss of her marriage, her status, her glamour, and the shield Bill has provided. If she continues to dump all the blame on Lynette, that may buy her a little more time, but it will also push Lynette into desperation. And Lynette is not the kind of person who goes down alone. A woman who has lived lavishly on someone else's money, who has held onto that ring like a timed explosive, will not choose silence once she has been discarded. If she is pushed to the edge, she may run, but running is only for people who still believe they can find another way out. Someone like Lynette, once she knows she is about to lose everything, is far more likely to drag everyone else down with her. And the secrets she unleashes then will not just involve a few suspicious payments or hidden meetings. They may include proof that Hayley exploited Bill's own law firm, used his trust as a shield, and let him finance the life of a woman who should have been cut off from the start. What makes this storyline so compelling is that Bill is not a gentle victim. His ego is far too large for him to simply suffer and walk away. If Cott is right, Bill will not stop at ending things with Hayley. A man like him will turn humiliation into strategy. He will want revenge in a way that forces Hayley and Lynette to understand that what they stole from him was not money, but the right to look down on him. That revenge may begin with frozen support, reopened files, and a ruthless investigation into every legal favor Lynette ever received and every murky transaction disguised as help. But what is even more frightening is that Bill may choose to strike psychologically rather than financially. He may let Hayley live in terror as each mask is ripped away one by one. He may let Lynette believe she still has hope, only to suddenly strip away every source of support. He may weaponize suspicion itself until the two women who once worked together so smoothly begin tearing each other apart. Cott's role here is that of the spark, but she is not the one who created the fire. The fire has been there all along, burning quietly inside the lies, the greed, and the habit of treating Bill like a machine that produces power and money. Cott is simply the one bold enough to point at the smoke and force Bill to smell the burn. From that moment on, every relationship changes color. Tomas, if he stands outside and watches, will realize this is no longer just Bill's private crisis. It is the collapse of an entire false structure that Hayley tried to maintain through charm, cares, and her ability to make others believe the version of truth most useful to her. Tomas may become the one who sees Hayley's true nature more clearly than anyone else, but he will also understand that once Bill begins to strike back, nothing will be governed by reason anymore. It will be governed by fury. And that is the most dangerous part of all, because when a powerful man realizes he has been betrayed, his anger is not directed only at the people who deceived him. It is also directed at his own blindness. Bill will not be able to bear the thought that he overlooked too many signs, that his masculine pride and excessive confidence made him the last person to know the truth. That shame will make his revenge colder, more surgical. Hayley may think she still has enough lies left to save herself. Lynette may believe that one devastating secret will be enough to force Bill to back down. But once Bill accepts that this marriage may have been nothing more than a filthy game, he will no longer fight to save love. He will fight to reclaim the right to judge, the right to punish, and the right to decide who is left with nothing in the end. That is when this crisis stops being about missing money, an improper relationship, or a hidden luxury hotel secret. It becomes a full-scale power war, where love is exposed as nothing more than a thin coat of paint over greed, where marriage is transformed into a playground for manipulation, and where Bill, Hayley, and Lynette are all forced to reveal their true faces once there is nowhere left to hide. Will Lynette escape before Bill's collapse turns into destruction? Will Bill forgive Hayley? What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.